Hi class, this is Professor Lillie, and I'm trying to see if I can use QuickTime to record a screen and my voice at the same time. Um, I just discovered that the lecture capture technology or app that we were using last semester, it doesn't work on my operating system anymore. So I'll have to have that cleared up, but I think that this is working. Um, right now for being able to capture the screen. So I just want to talk to you real quick. And normally, and then the next time I'll do a video, you'll be able to see my face. But mostly, you'll be able to see my screen, and I'll usually be showing you things in Moodle or talking about a particular article and what to be looking for. So, real quickly, I just want to run through, say hi. Um, the best way to get in contact with me is through email. I do have my home phone number here, which is after email. The mobile number is the best way to get in contact with me. Usually, you should try to set up a phone call in advance, just because if I don't recognize the number, I might not necessarily know to answer it when it rings. And then we can also set up a Skype as well. So I just want to talk really quickly about the course. Basically, the syllabus, a few people have asked, not necessarily this semester, but in years past, where's the syllabus? Well, the syllabus is really the whole Moodle site, but in particular, and as you note for the activities for week one, I want you to read everything that's in this introduction. So the course overview will tell you about the learning names for the course, and about the instructor. We'll talk about myself and my experience, and um, let's see. Lastly, the assignments and grading will tell you about the assignments in this course. As you hopefully have already figured out, the main objective of the course is to give all of our emerging media students a master's level experience researching a particular user group. Now there is a kind of a whole, I don't know, you wouldn't call it a major industry, but maybe a minor industry in studying the user experience, and basically that means ways to find out how users are experiencing, say, a new website or a graphic user interface, or if you put a new app on the market, how are people engaging with it? How much time do they spend? Is there any problems with the interface? What's their experience like? Those tend to be a little bit more quantitative, but often times qualitative studies similar to the ones some of you are going to be doing are used, where qualitative surveys or interviews or focus groups are used to find out, basically what's our typical user experience of this new particular app or technology. So this class, I wouldn't categorize it in the same philosophy of the same industry as that kind of user experience industry. And you can't see me, but I kind of put my fingers out to say user experience in quote. But rather, this course is designed to teach you how to study a user group or find out about a user or users' experience using emerging media, and give you a experience yourself, an experience doing that. So you'll see how the majority of the course is geared towards that research study that you're going to do, and I do encourage you, starting at the very beginning, to start thinking about what particular technology, app, emerging media platform are you interested in studying, and what particular user group that might use that technology or that app do you want to study also. So that's why I have you starting out here looking at some examples from last semester. And I taught this class in the summer, and I'm going to add several of those that were done this summer, even though they're a little bit more abbreviated, so they might not go quite into the same depth as some of these from last fall, but just to give you a broader depth. And just by the titles here, you can tell that some of them, like Waze and Strava, are looking at the user experience in general, because these are relatively, although they are asking specific questions about how those users experience or use this particular emerging media application. So it's not necessarily just totally wide open, although it could be with something that's really new, just finding out what are people doing with this particular technology and why are they doing it. So as opposed to some of these others like Tumblr and fandoms and why do photographers use Instagram, that are looking at particular kind of narrowed down user groups. Obviously, amateur photographers who use Instagram is just one small group of the much broader group of people who use Instagram. So the research questions were more targeted towards photographers, which is the user group that the author, the researcher in the class last semester was interested in. So since we are really geared towards where we are going, our final destination, which is your research presentation, that's why we're starting with this, to give you a sense of where you're going to be going and for you to start that kind of imagination or visualization process of and thinking about what groups and technologies are you interested in studying this semester. So I'm not going to talk too much about what to do this first week, just because it says it in activities 1, the activities for week 1. I do want to note that for the voice thread, it can be a teeny bit confusing. We'll use it 2 or 3 times this semester. So here, I think Kelly added her own on top of it, and that's fine. But if you scroll down here, it says, hello, my name is. So that's the one that I started out. So what I intended that if you click on that, and no one has added a comment, so maybe I'll go and add a comment here, but if you click on the plus at the bottom, that's where all of you, including myself if I wanted to right now, click on the camera, and I could start to, here we go, record a comments. So right now, it's recording what I'm saying about, and I just intend for you to talk about yourself, why you're taking the emergent media program, what your career experience is, and what you're perhaps initially interested in doing, or what user group you want to study. And also maybe if there was a particular presentation that you looked at from last fall that caught your eye, what you thought about that. So I'm going to hit stop recording here. And then, see, I'll hit save. And then this is actually, my icon is a picture of my son from a couple months ago. So, or a couple years ago, really. So the idea would be at the end of the week, Sunday or Monday, there would be 18 of these little icons, and each one of us can kind of go through. And you really only have to talk for a minute or two. This is just kind of like in class doing an introduction. Okay, so if you look at, just to talk about the overview for the class, so we're just going to do 1 week of this kind of starting to introduce ourselves and think about what's going on. And then we're going to go right into an introduction to audience studies. And so I think from a perspective of a media scholar or a mass communication scholar, I guess that's what I would call myself, the study of how users experience and what they do and how they use new technologies, new media technologies, we'd be understood under kind of audience studies. So I'm going to give you a little background. I'm going to add a couple lectures in this module, and you're going to read some examples of or this article that talks a little bit about audience studies, and then a couple that are just examples that are kind of a little bit more formalistic or kind of research paper type presentations of research, but not too dissimilar, for you to kind of see how scholars have approached in kind of more like new media, like current emerging media, how people use these uh, mass communication, or rather information and communication technologies. At the end of that first week, we will have a discussion forum, and this will be, if you go back to look at grading, a lot of the grading is based on participation. So Moodle allows me to know who's been logging on and what they've been doing, if they've been participating in discussion forum, doing the assignments, how long people spend on Moodle. Obviously, I'm going to be reading these, the discussions that we have, and participating as well. And I will, in my next video, talk a little bit about what I expect you to do when you're participating in a discussion. Excuse me. Usually, discussions will, like in the first part of a week where we have readings assigned, you'll have a few days to read those. And then, so I would hope that the discussion will kind of range from Wednesday to, let's say, Saturday, depending on when you've read and when you're able to check in. And you don't have to monitor that discussion every day, but maybe come in once a day and say something and read what other people have been doing. The course is very much designed for a kind of breadth of life events, lifestyles, careers. So you might be the kind of person who you might be like me, where I have kids and I try not to do too much work on the weekends. So I do my right now my kids are in school, and so I'm able to do work. Or you might be the kind of person who does more work on the weekends, or you might be the kind of person who's trying to juggle everything at the same time. So there's never like one particular time or day and time when you have to be able to do something. There are deadlines, but those deadlines are just set so that we can move on to the next thing, and so that people don't fall behind. So the deadlines can impact your grade, but as long as you're thinking about, okay, in the next week I need to do these things, you can choose whenever it fits your life to do those things, whatever the activities are. So then we will move into qualitative methodology, which tends to be standard techniques for studying how people are using an emerging application. So when you have questions like, so how are people using this new app, or why are they using this new app? And so you want kind of rich data where people are talking about their experience, talking about their attitudes, talking about their interests. And so that's why things like qualitative surveys, where you're trying to get long, in-depth answers, interviews, ethnography, where you're observing what people are doing in this particular app, and sometimes even participating yourself. So that would be also called participant observation. And a case study, which kind of or puts all those things together, and we'll talk about that. And then also focus groups, which are also very common. Qualitative methods are kind of my expertise, so it's possible that in the future that a different professor who maybe would do large quantitative surveys would teach it in a different way, but still allow for students to have an experience researching users of a particular technology and find out what they are doing. Just a few notes. There are some things that I will change around. So some of these are I've gone through and I've looked at them, and I'm pretty sure I want to do them, but they'll change a little bit. So usually like the week, 1 or 2 weeks before, I'll go through and make sure that particular module is saying exactly what I want to say. Like, for example, I think these dates here are wrong, but it's still in general what I want to be done. And then we will get into research design, and you'll be asked to do kind of a mini literature review, where you go and look at academic literature on your particular subject. For a lot of these new technologies, there won't necessarily be like a research study that's published on Waze or one of these new apps. But you can look into the scholars who talk about similar technologies. You can also look at industry literature. So there will be kind of experts writing online about these emerging media and talking about them. There will be industry stats like how many users are there and what type of users they are and things like that you can find out that give context for then going on and doing your own original research. And also when you're presenting your research, it kind of gives information to a reader or viewer of your presentation who doesn't really know much of anything about that particular subject. And then we will move into actually giving a proposal to me about what the research project is. You will have, at that point, you and also through conversations myself will have known what basically you're interested in doing. And then basically by the end of October and all of November, you will actually be doing the research project. I'll have a presentation on data or coding your data. So the data, when I say data, I just mean like the answers to your survey or the answers to your focus group, and different ways to analyze that to kind of take all that stuff and say, okay, how does this help me to answer my research questions? You will, right before Thanksgiving, turn in a research rough draft for me to look at and give you feedback. And then finally, you'll take that feedback, you'll make your presentation even better. And then the last week, you'll turn it in and we'll have a week to kind of just decompress and talk about the whole research experience. So that's kind of what we're looking at for this semester. I'm sure everyone's going to have a lot of fun. If you are kind of all the way like several weeks from now and still have no idea what type of technology or user group you want to research, then I can certainly help you to figure that out. So I think that's all I want to say for now. Like I said, what you're supposed to do in week 1 is right here. Usually I will post the activities for a week right before that week's happen. So like Sunday night or Monday morning. And when I do that, I will also send out an email. So there'll be something like this on Moodle that says what the activities are going to be. And then there will be an email sent out saying what the activities are going to be too. So we definitely will go week to week. Some of the modules will last more than 1 week, but you will know explicitly what you're supposed to do that week a couple days before those activities officially begin. And again, it's designed to consider your busy lives and be able to do it when it makes sense for you. If you have any questions, you can email me. But again, and most weeks I will be doing a video like this, and a video will actually usually have my face in it as well, but also a screen capture to kind of give you an understanding of what's going on. In most of these lectures, I do redo or do them again every semester, just because every semester is a little bit different, and I just want to make sure that we're on the same base. So I'm looking forward to this semester, and I'm looking forward to watching your VoiceThreads introductions as well. Take care and have a good weekend.